Thank you guys first and foremost for taking the time to spend with us. I know it's the last day of Accelerate and probably your attention is a bit waning. So we appreciate that you're here to learn more about seller support. I'm Joy Chang and I lead the product, tech, and editorial teams for seller support. I've been with Amazon for over 12 years now, which is hard to believe. But I've only been with seller support for a little over a year. And fun fact is, actually last year when I attended Accelerate, I'd only been with the team for about 2 months. And so sellers would come talk to me and say, I don't know anything about anything. I also know that last year when I met with some sellers, we were not the most popular team in the room. But I'm hoping that Vijay and I are going to change your minds here today.
Yes. I'm Vijay Kanitsukara. I lead our differentiated support organization. Similar to Joy last year, I'm only a few months in on being as part of the seller support team, but I've been with Amazon for the past 8 years leading product in our last mile delivery organization. So I want to bring your attention to the screen. At the end of this session, we're going to have a Q&A. We're also going to welcome Jenna Owens, who leads our worldwide support organization, on the stage to help us with that Q&A. But if you all could take out your phones and access the Accelerate app, you can go ahead and select the menu at the top left-hand of the screen to access the QR code scanner. If you want to go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen, that's going to bring you to a page where you can scroll to the bottom and hit Q&A. Once you're in that area, that's where you're going to be able to submit questions for us throughout the presentation, and at the end, we're going to pick those up to answer live. I'll give you a few moments. Again, if you access the Accelerate app, you can go ahead and scan that code, and that'll take you to a Q&A section where you can submit questions.
I know, I think in the app, maybe you may have to get a little bit closer because I know it's not always working from a far distance. So
we'll have some time at the end of the presentation as well for you to scan again.
Feel free to stand up if you think you're going to want to ask us a question.
All right, and again, we'll have that back up at the end of the presentation. But before we go into our actual presentation, we wanted to start with some trivia to see how well you know seller support already. We're going to have some multiple choice questions, and I'm looking for you all in the crowd and for those of you at home to help guess which answer is right. Specifically, for those of you in person, if you hear the answer that you think is correct, feel free to raise your hand or shout as loud as you want whenever you think that answer is correct. So we'll get started. All right, first question. How many stores do we support in seller support? How many of you think it's A, 19? Any A's? Okay, how about B, 19? Okay, a few. Or how about C, 22? All right, a lot of C's. The correct answer is C, 22. We have teams all around the world supporting sellers across 22 unique Amazon stores.
You guys are pretty good. So let's see the next one. How many languages do we actually provide support in? Anybody for A, 12? B, 21? Nobody. C, 27? Okay, a lot of people think 27. The actual answer is B, 21. We provide support in 21 different languages in our 22 stores.
Okay, last question. This is for all the marbles here. How many unique issue types do we support? How many of you think it's A, 136? A few people. B, 157. Okay, some for B. Or how about C, 198? All right, you guys are good. The answer is C. Our associates handle 198 unique issue types. That's a ton of different issue types. And Joy's actually going to talk about this later on, but that's why it's so important that you're able to provide us as much information as possible whenever you submit a case to us, so we can quickly diagnose that and get you the right support that you need. Okay, well, that's it for trivia right now. So hopefully you know a few more facts about seller support, or it's reaffirmed what you've already known. But let's go over what we're going to cover today. So we're going to start off with some basics about what resources we have to help you solve your issues. Then we're going to talk about how the different ways for you to be able to engage support. And then we're going to share some innovations that we're excited to talk about. And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session with myself, Joy, and Jenna. First, let's talk about some of the resources that you have at your disposal when you run into an issue. So this is the help page. This is where you start whenever you want to contact support. But on this help page, you also have other tools to do your own research. Specifically, if you see at the right-hand side of this screen, you can see a few tools: help articles, Seller University, and forums. Let's spend a little bit of time digging into these. So first, this is the help articles page. We have thousands of articles to help give you the latest information. This covers tools, programs, policies across areas such as fulfillment by Amazon, payments, and many more. This page consolidates all of that information for you into one area where you can easily navigate and search for exactly what you need. In addition to this, you can find help articles throughout your seller journey. For example, when you're listing a new product, we'll dynamically surface the most relevant information for you so that you can reference whenever you need. Okay. Next is Seller University. Seller University has educational resources to help you succeed in the Amazon store. That includes thousands of articles, videos, webinars, and case studies in over 26 different languages. Now, the content in Seller University is really designed around key success factors to help you manage your business. That includes how-tos on analyzing product performance, customer returns, pricing, or even how to find the right customers to help grow your business. And lastly, we know that sometimes your best resource is learning from other sellers. And that's where our community forums come into play, because they're designed to do exactly that, enable you to learn and discuss. Amazon also uses forums to help answer questions when sellers raise issues that we can support with. Some key things that you can learn from forums: you can share advice with other sellers to learn how to run a successful Amazon business. You can discuss topics such as listing optimization, inventory management, and even customer service. Amazon also uses forums to share updates, news, announcements, and policy changes. That could cover things like new program rollouts or even changes in FBA. You can also use forums to help troubleshoot. If you're encountering technical or operational issues, you can find solutions and best practices from other sellers who might have already encountered the same issue that you're facing. Also, a feature of being a seller on Amazon is that you're now part of a larger network of business owners, and this forum provides you that platform to help you build those relationships and foster those channels with different sellers. So in summary, our community forums are an important platform for you to be able to stay up to date, discuss and solve problems, and ultimately improve your Amazon business operations. Okay, now that you know about some of the resources we have available, Joy is going to come back on stage and talk to you about how to engage support.
Thanks, Vijay. All right. Now, the same help page that Vijay showed you earlier, where you would access the resources to self-serve, is also the same place where you would start to contact seller support. And you can see at the top here, these, we call them tiles, but these are the most common contact types. And when you select one of these, we will show a workflow that will allow you to get immediate resolution. And for those of you who have not yet tried one of these workflows, I highly suggest doing that because they work. And we know that they work because for sellers who complete the workflow, more than 95% of the time, the seller doesn't end up needing to contact us at all, which is great. But if your issue is not listed in the top common contact reasons, then you can use the text box at the bottom to write into us. From there, our machine learning models will try to understand your issue. And if we don't have high confidence in our understanding, we're going to ask you to confirm your issue. And we know that sometimes sellers here select "my issue is not listed" by default, but we actually do need you to help clarify our understanding of your issue, because it allows us to route the contact to the right associate who is trained on handling that contact type, and ultimately avoids transfers and gets a faster resolution. So for example, if you're trying to navigate how to get approval to sell in a new category, our associates who are trained in FBA are not going to be able to handle that contact type. So spending a little bit of time here really is worth it. The other thing that I want to mention is that we really do require some documentation and information from you upfront so that we can resolve your issue in one interaction. That's what we're always trying to do. And some examples of the types of information that we need from you upfront could include related to case IDs, SKUs and UPC, images and screenshots, ASINs, website links, and FBA shipment IDs. So I'm going to share with you 2 real cases that sellers have submitted to us and walk you through them. We've replaced the sensitive information, but you'll get the gist. So on the left-hand side, a seller wrote to us to update the brand for an ASIN. But when they wrote to us, they missed showing images of the correct UPC and the manufacturer link with that UPC. So we had to send the seller 2 reminders before we could get that information and resolve the case. And on the right-hand side, we got a contact from a seller to update the product detail page with images. And in this contact, you can see they've clearly stated the ASIN, they have the manufacturer proof, and they have the specific images that they wanted replaced. So we were able to get that to the right associate and resolve that right away. So I know it takes a little bit more time for you up front, but providing us the documentation is really important. And we really need it to do 2 things. As you heard from Vijay in the trivia, we handle 198 different case types. And so we need to be able to route your case to an associate who's specially trained to handle that contact type. And 2, sometimes we have to engage other internal teams to solve your issue. And so this information really allows us to get that over to them, and then they can resolve the case in one interaction. And if you're having a more complex or nuanced issue, we highly encourage you to try using chat or phone, because it really allows you to avoid some of the back and forth. Okay, now I'm going to walk through the top 3 instances where we end up having to go back to you for more information for a contact. The first is when you have missing units in a fulfillment center and you're contacting us to inquire about inventory. So for these types of contacts, the most important information that we need are box level details, bill of lading, tracking number, and carrier name. The second are contacts related to a listing not found message in your account. There's 2 common reasons why you're contacting us about this. Either the ASIN has been removed from the website because the trademark info on a detailed page is about a brand, and that brand, or that ASIN is not in that brand. And the second is when an ASIN has been removed from the website due to product safety policies, which requires the product to meet specific regulations and requirements that are unique to that store. So for these types of contacts, in order to help you, we actually need valid product images, letters of compliance, licensing agreements, and letters of authorization. And the third is when you're experiencing troubles trying to list your product. A common reason that you're contacting seller support when you're trying to create a listing is that you're using a brand name where you may not be the brand or rights owner. And so in those instances, we really need information and documentation from you that could include the seller qualification application and a screenshot with the error code, brand name, and timestamp. Okay, so for these, if you send this to us right away, then we don't have to come back to you for more information. Okay, I'm gonna move on now to a couple of contact types where we really do wanna help you, but we can't due to policy reasons. So the first is brand-related contacts, where our goal at the end of the day is to try to protect the customer experience and safeguard the brand experience. So if you're contacting us to make brand name updates, but you're not the brand name owner, we're not gonna be able to allow you to do that. And the second is brand registry application denials, where we can't really verify your identity, and that includes the trademark information and or your contact information. And the second is due to policies that have to do with listings issues. So if you're requesting to merge or unmerge ASINs in brand registry, or you're requesting to create a new version of an existing product, but you're not the brand owner, we're not going to be able to help with those use cases. And it's because we have policies that are meant to help protect and safeguard brands and maintain a high quality catalog. Okay, so those were a few instances where we really can't help you due to policy, but I do want to talk about instances where we are able to help you and where we work with business teams to address defects, feature gaps, missing processes, and even policies to improve your support experience. So Jen and I talked about the root cause elimination program on the main stage and the 10 million contacts that we're hoping to prevent this year. And I wanted to give you a little bit of behind the scenes look of what that work is. So we know that the best experience is when you can sell on Amazon and things just work and you don't have any issues. That's obviously our goal at the end of the day. But when you raise issues to us, our goal is not just to solve that specific contact, but actually we look at all of the insights. We look at the trends that are happening underlying those contacts, and we try to figure out what's happening here. Does it make sense? Should we be doing this? Does this policy make sense? And we go back and work with the business teams to try to figure out, how can we fix this? How can we improve the seller experience? So one example of when we were doing this is last year, we got an influx of apparel product dimensions related contacts. And we really dug in to try to figure out, like, what's happening here? When we started talking to sellers, we found that what was happening is the apparel was being wrapped in plastic wrap, and it was causing a lot of fluctuations in how we were measuring the dimensions because of the air in the plastic wrap. And so we worked with the business team to really stabilize the process and underwent a bunch of initiatives to be able to measure, make sure that our systems were measuring the dimensions correctly. In addition to that, we actually also increased the number of remeasurement requests that you could make per month. It was capped prior. And so this really helped for large sellers. All right, I'm gonna move on to some of the more exciting stuff that you probably came to hear about. And those are some of the innovations that we're really working on to drive your experience and make it better. And that includes how we're gonna enable faster resolutions. Okay, so I mentioned this on the main stage as well, and I'll mention it here, but one of the things we're doing is we know it's faster for you to solve a contact via chat or phone, and sellers who use chat over email are 32% more satisfied, 19% more likely to resolve it the first time, and overall have that contact resolve 53% faster. And so now, today, live chat is available worldwide for all issue types that we support. So if you haven't tried it out, I highly recommend using that. We also know that when you're chatting with an associate, sometimes you need to be able to send an attachment or to receive an attachment from the associate. And there was a feature that you guys were asking for, and we previously did not have it enabled. And as of a few weeks ago, we launched chat attachments as a new capability. And in the 2 weeks that we launched at the end of August, we already received 200,000 attachments in chat. So we know the feature is already very popular. Okay, I'm very excited about this one. We know that sometimes it's easier to show rather than tell. And we're like, why don't we just make screen sharing available for you? And this is something that we've started piloting with some select sellers, and our goal is to expand to more and more of you throughout the rest of the year. We also launched a new escalation feature for when your case isn't getting resolved. We're gonna automatically detect that on our end and route it to a specially trained associate who can handle it via phone or chat. This is for the most difficult cases, and it's already enabled for all North American-based sellers. I talked about this one a little bit on the main stage as well, but we're beginning to experiment with Gen AI to actually resolve issues on your behalf. So instead of asking you to use our tools to resolve your issues, we're just gonna do it for you and get you an immediate resolution. And this one, Mary Beth talked about on the main stage, codenamed Project Amelia. So this is an AI-based assistant that is meant to be your partner, which can give you personalized growth recommendations. It can answer policy-related questions. And by the end of the year, you're also going to be able to create contacts to our support teams directly from the assistant. Very excited about it. Okay, and now I'm going to hand it back to Vijay to talk about our Connect with Specialists program.
Thanks, Joy. Great to hear all of those innovations. It's going to be a little bit hard to follow all of that up, but I am excited to share one last thing about our new specialist support program that you might have just heard a little bit about on the main stage just now as well. We began trialing this with select sellers this past July. So the core idea behind this program is to provide you a personalized and more effective support experience. We know that sometimes your problems are unique, complex, or urgent, and we want you to think of this as a dedicated dial zero experience when you need specialized support. Sometimes you need someone with the right level of experience and expertise to be able to adequately solve your complex issue. Specialists will handle your case end-to-end to drive resolution and ensure that you have consistency with who you're working with. Our specialists have a deep expertise in issue types such as listings, incorrect information on the detail page, and image and feed issues. You should really think of our specialists as problem solvers. They have dedicated training, more in-depth knowledge across Amazon's broader ecosystem to really help you figure this out the first time. Now, the experience starts on the help page. And now, depending on issue type, you're going to see a new banner where you're going to be able to select to connect with a specialist. Here you can see at a high level what this new experience will look like. So this new landing page will first allow you to see some of the specialists at the bottom of this page where you can understand their experience and their skill sets. At the top of this page is where you're going to be able to select your issue type and then describe the problem by providing a little bit more details. And then you're going to be able to select your preferred method of contact, whether that be phone or chat, to ensure that you're getting live help for your immediate needs. Once you're in the chat with the specialist, this is where you can add chat attachments or share your screen, which are some of the features Joy just talked about. So how has this experience been going so far? We've received really positive feedback from the sellers that have been able to use it, and we're encouraged to continue expanding this program. Now, this experience is still being piloted with select sellers, but we're looking to quickly expand the types of issues that we're supporting, grow into additional stores to offer support, and then add additional sellers into the program in the near term. Okay, now, before we go into Q&A, I wanted to reiterate that all of the innovations that Joy and I talked about today were spurred by your direct feedback that you provided us in the past. Customer obsession is one of our most important leadership principles at Amazon. And in seller support, you are our customer. And we have many ways of getting feedback from you all to ensure that your voice is present as we think about how to innovate and help provide you best-in-class support. And one of those ways is the survey that you receive after every contact. That's the thumbs up or thumbs down prompt that you receive. Now, this is such an important survey that we actually review this as a team on a weekly basis to actually understand where we're improving and where we continue to have opportunities where we need to look to find solutions. In addition to surveys, we have one-to-one interviews with sellers where we look to understand your unique problems and your unique needs. We run A/B and beta testings across the features that we're launching to ensure that what we've built is being used as intended and that our products are usable, understandable, and accessible. We have many of these same mechanisms with our support associates who are often right there with you trying to understand your problems and can also reflect the frustrations they're having in trying to solve your issues. We really see this as a true partnership, and we value your participation in improving the products that you use. Again, your feedback and suggestions are what drive the improvements we need to make.